Today's video is all about my experience running a half marathon. As you can see, I have my medals behind me, and I want to tell you all about my experience, my training, and would I do it again? So if you want to hear all about my experience, keep watching this video. So I ran my half marathon in October 2019. Prior to that, I had only done a 5K here in Philadelphia, the Rocky Run, which was a lot of fun.
Get it, Chrissy!
So I was first introduced to the idea of running a half marathon by my soror, Karen. It was kind of something we mentioned in passing. I thought she would forget about it, but she didn't. So she held me accountable, and I actually ended up doing it. So I wanted to talk about the training. Running a half marathon, you should at least start preparing 3-4 months out. I prepared in 8 weeks, but there are plenty of training guides no matter what time you have left before the race. There's 6-week guides, 8-week guides, 10-week guides to kind of get you on track as far as how much you should be running, what you should do the week before the race, because that's really important, what your longest run should be, etc. So my longest run when I was training was 8 miles. Up until that point in my initial training, I was doing 3 miles, 4 miles, 5 miles. Then one day I did Kelly Drive here in Philadelphia. I went from the start to the art museum and back, which was about 8 miles and some change. That was the most challenging training day for me, and it was also my longest run before my half marathon. I don't know why I thought 8 miles before a 13.1 mile race would be enough to get me mentally prepared or physically in shape, whatever. But I did one 8-mile run. Other than that, I was also doing a little bit of cross training, so some ab work, some leg work, etc. But mostly I was running. The week before, I took it easy. You don't want to go into the race sore and exhausted. So I did some light training, but I was really nervous about it. I was nervous about the time limit. There was a 3-hour time limit, and I was really concerned that I wouldn't place in that time restriction. Now, you could finish the race after that, but you wouldn't get a medal, you wouldn't get all of the things that come with participating. It was kind of like you did it, but you didn't really do it. So I really wanted to finish within 3 hours. So when the weekend of the race came, I was so excited. We actually went up to Connecticut the night before, tried to get some sleep, and then woke up early in the morning, ate breakfast, and went back to sleep. That's something I'd read that can be really helpful so that you don't feel like you're eating in a rush. You can go ahead and let everything digest before you start running so you don't cramp or anything like that. So I had peanut butter on toast and a cup of tea and went back to bed, slept for another hour, got up and got ready for the race. We arrived to the race probably an hour before. It was perfect time to stretch, and stretch some more. That was super important and something that I will definitely spend more time on if I do it again. Then it was time to get all corralled up and ready for the start. I don't even remember starting. Oh yes, I do, because it was raining when it started, and I was like, I'm not doing 13.1 miles in the rain, but it stopped. The first 2 or 3 miles were easy breezy, because they usually are. Around mile 3 is when I told Karen, go ahead without me, girl, because I don't want to hold you back. But I kind of caught my second wind, and I was good mile 4 and 5. And then 6 was a hard one to get through. I think around probably mile 4 or 5 is when I saw my support group, my boyfriend and Karen's boyfriend as well, cheering us on, and some people they had met cheering us on. So that was really fun to see. Mile 8 and mile 9 is when I lost my mind, okay? Nobody told me running the half marathon would put me through so many emotions. I started off, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. I can't believe I'm doing this. Okay, this is getting a little uncomfortable, but hey, there's still a group around me. We're doing this thing together. And then it turned into, why am I doing this again? I don't want to do this. I'm not doing this. That's where I was around mile 8 and mile 9. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I can cut through somebody's yard, go get an Uber, and find my way back to the house. I'm not doing this anymore. After that, it got a little bit better. I did have an emotional moment of, oh my God, I don't think I'm strong enough to handle this, but I kept pushing. And to a real runner, this is probably hilarious, but to me, it really was a big deal, and it was like the most running I had ever done in my life. The last part of the race, I started having a lot of fun with it. I actually started chatting with people who were running around me. Probably could have done that earlier, but was trying to stay focused, but I think that's a good thing. So I met some people who travel together and run half marathons around the country. I met some people who had only done this one. It was also their first half marathon. I met people who were doing it for a cause, people who weren't necessarily runners, and people who trained for it all year. So it was so great to see the mix in the race, and it made me feel like I would definitely do another half. Finally, I made it, and guess what time I made it under the finish line? 3 hours flat. I was so discouraged and so hurt that it took me 3 hours. I was so embarrassed, but now looking back on it, 3 hours was my goal, and I did it in 3 hours. I shouldn't be disappointed because I have so many more that I can do and so much more work that I can put in. Like I said, I only did 8 weeks of training. So next time I'll definitely put in more, and I'll finish in 2 hours and 15 minutes or something like that. So there's definitely a lot of room for improvement, but I wasn't the last person by far, so that's great. After the race, they had plenty of snacks available for us, so I got some oatmeal and bananas and things like that. I was fine after the race. I felt great. I did wear one of the reflective blankets. Even though I didn't feel cold, I just wanted to make sure my body didn't cool down too quickly. So I think that that's a great tip if the race organizers for your race have those. Definitely take one or put on an extra layer of clothing. Like I said, I ran mine on a cool October morning, so I definitely didn't want to cool down too quickly. Then after we ate, we headed back, took a quick nap, and I was fine, surprisingly fine for the rest of that day. We went to eat, and then we went out that night and danced, ate ice cream, and I wasn't sore. I was moving all night. It felt great. The following day was terrible. And for a couple of days after that, I was extremely sore. Walking up the stairs to my apartment, it was hard. I could barely move. I think it was really important and really good that we kept moving the day of the marathon. We didn't finish and say, okay, I'm gonna sit down now for the rest of the day. No, you got to keep moving. It really, really helped me a lot, trust me. So I want to share with you things that I purchased for the race and for training. I saw a lot of suggestions when I was preparing for things that I should buy, things that I might need, but I found I really didn't need a lot of that during the actual race. The first thing I bought was a pair of running shoes, which of course I needed that. And they're this cute little number here. I went to a running store, and that worked out for various reasons. The first being the owner had me get on the treadmill so she could see the way I ran, and if I am flat-footed, if I run on the balls of my feet, etc. I walked across the store a few times for her so she could observe the way I walk, and that really helped her suggest this pair of shoes, which is the Nike Zoom Pegasus 36. And I love them. Not only are they just comfortable and they feel like you're on air, but they're also just cute, and I wear them when I shouldn't because these are only supposed to be my running shoes. It was also a good thing that I went to that running store because the owner had actually run that particular half before, so she was able to tell me a little bit about the terrain and the setup. That was the first thing I bought and the most helpful. Another thing I had when I was training, I didn't actually use this on race day, is this little cell phone holder. You just slide your phone into the pouch in the back, and there's a clear screen. If you put your music in, like, you should be able to like skip to the next song and everything through the screen. The next thing was actually this pair of jogging pants, and I'm so glad I got them because they are moisture wicking. You definitely need a material that is going to repel water instead of absorb it, but mostly just because they have pockets on both sides and deep pockets at that, which was really helpful because you will need snacks. You need snacks. You need them. You have to eat. Take a granola bar. I'm telling you, you need a snack. I was really nervous about water because I did not buy a water belt. I saw so many water belts on Amazon. Essentially, you just hook this belt around your waist and you have like little slots to put these small water bottles, like a travel size water bottle. But I didn't get one. I did not need a water belt. There were water stations every few miles. Most races will actually post where water rescue sites basically where water sites will be throughout the race, so you can see, okay, they're every 2 miles, they're every 3 miles. They were definitely more frequent at the beginning of the race, and as you near the finish line you don't see them as much, but that gives you more motivation to finish so you can get some water. You made it to the finish line of this video. I had to put a corny joke in there somewhere. Thank you for joining me, and the answer to the question is yes, I will definitely be doing another half, and I encourage you to find ways to stay active too, since we can't really do anything else. But I hope that you guys are staying safe out there and having fun as well. Check back on my channel. I'll be posting some travel content soon, so if you'd like to see where I'm going or where I've been, make sure you subscribe. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and have a good one.